get started on this mortar build. So, to start off this mortar build, of course, as you know, you need to have the grenade launcher subclass on so you can use the mortar. I start off the course with in sync to make this gun a little bit stronger. It makes the gun stronger and it makes your ability stronger. So this is a win-win altogether. You can use in sync pretty much for any kind of build you want because as long as you're using a skill, you're. I really love in sync.
Especially
This
one
is
with
one
a
of
long duration and that
man.
usually has line of sight. That
Yo,
it's monstrous.
they've done so good with it. This was one of the most exciting things in the game for me is in sync. I saw this and I immediately thought, God, they're gonna nerf it. But this so far they're doing good. It's still here. It's kicking strong, and yeah, I ride with that heavy. My second gun is the Rock and Roller. This gun is incredible because it's a shotgun that has 30 bullets. I don't really need to go into any more detail than that right there. My second, not my secondary, my third gun is going to be my double barrel shotgun. I just have it because I really like the double barrel shotguns. They do almost a million damage. You can't you can't really beat it. You're not gonna find a pistol that does this much damage this quickly. You're also not really gonna be using this too much either. So moving on to the chest piece. My chest piece, this is also for another build because I was looking at it and I was wondering why I had status effect on here, but I just haven't changed it because I'm using this on another build also. So I might go in and see if I got another one that has skill haste and skill damage on it instead of status effect. But for now, it works either way with the bleed effect with the mortars. So you're still inflicting damage and you're still good to go. Because right now I'm using tag team, and I only use tag team for my abilities is to get my the riot foam canisters back. They take roughly like 15 to 16 seconds, and with my mortar and the riot foam, tag team just cuts 4 seconds off of it every time. Actually, it's more than 4 seconds. The cooldown is 4 seconds. Tag team cuts down.
It's seconds.
Oh wow, it is 6 seconds. You can also use kinetic momentum, which Riker was talking about. The second piece is
Cool,
going to
cool.
be the Akaska Go bag just to get supercharged. You don't necessarily have to use this. I just like to be able to have the option to go supercharged every now and then. This is like one of those OP abilities, and Akaska Go bag is definitely one of them.
You
All
know what
right.
you should do? We should test out this build with Memento at some point.
There's a good option. I never even thought about that because and I have
Well,
one
yeah,
with
because
momentum on it.
it won't help you out initially, but once you get those stacks up and do it and bring it back out, you know something's gonna happen.
Moving over to the gloves, I went with the China Light just to get the explosive damage. You always want to get explosive damage wherever you can dealing with the mortars. I got skill damage and skill haste on the gloves. The holster is also China Light. It has skill haste and status effect. And I'll explain a little bit more why the status effect is implemented on here so heavily, but I'll do that once we get to the skills. I have status effect and skill damage on the holsters. Moving on to the knee pads, I went with Wyvern Wear for this one because it's also status effect and skill damage. But for the abilities, I went with skill damage and skill haste. So for the skills, these are very important. You always want to use the mortar. You always have that regardless because it's a mortar build. But for the primary abilities, you can use the chem launcher. And if you don't want to use the chem launcher, you can use the hive. The stinger hive. The stinger hive is really good to keep people at bay. Or if you get bombarded, you could just drop it right behind you and it eliminates everything around you. The reason I recommend this is because you could put it with explosive delivery. So when you throw your hive, it's just pretty much a grenade every time you throw it. Here's a hack for people that don't know. If you throw your hive every second and have explosive delivery, you're throwing a grenade every couple of seconds. So just food for thought for explosive delivery. It's a lot of things that are overlooked that are actually secretly really good in the game.